Life, as we all know, has a way of testing us. It demands our best, our sweat, our dedication. But sometimes, when we pour ourselves into our work, when we give more than is asked, we can find ourselves facing a peculiar kind of challenge. It's when our own competence becomes the very thing used against us, when our willingness to go the extra mile is mistaken for an endless capacity to do more. Today's story comes from a gentleman who found himself in precisely such a situation. He's a man who understands the value of a job well done, a man who built something from the ground up. And when faced with a manager who didn't quite grasp the principles of sustainable effort, he responded with a quiet, calculated precision that is frankly a masterclass in professional leverage. Let's dive into his story. 3 years ago, a new line manager arrived at my workplace. This was within a large, established institution, and I knew her from prior engagements. Initially, I welcomed her appointment. She spoke the language of progress, of triggering positive feedback loops, what some might call virtuous mechanisms, to elevate our work environment. For the first 6 months, her leadership was focused and productive. But then a shift occurred. The demands began to escalate, workloads increased, and there was an increasing emphasis on activities that showcased progress, often at the expense of the deeper technical work. I found myself operating under a constant, unrelenting pressure, a tunnel with no discernible end in sight. The more I accomplished, the more was piled upon me. I voiced my concerns, explaining the unsustainable nature of the workload. Her response was disarmingly casual. "It's your responsibility to tell me when it's too much. I ask you because you deliver high-quality outputs, but if you want, I can ask someone else. But you know me, you just need a little push to work harder." For someone who prided myself on diligent effort and a solid professional reputation, this felt like a thinly veiled accusation, a deliberate attempt to shift the blame and gaslight my experience. This is where the malicious compliance began. She presented me with an unreasonable deadline to compile a user manual for a complex, automatically updating dashboard I had built from scratch in a mere 2 weeks, a task that had stalled for months in the hands of colleagues. The directive came that morning, with the manual due by evening, on a day she had organized a social gathering at a venue adjacent to our office. I stated clearly that this timeline was impossible. Her reply was curt: "You have to do it." I made a decision. I would work on the manual, attend the brief event, and upon its conclusion, instead of heading home like everyone else, I would return to my desk and complete the task. I made sure she was aware I was still present, working late into the evening. She saw me at my desk, remarking that I had a family and should be at home, suggesting the manual could wait until the next day. I calmly reminded her that I had already expressed my reservations about the deadline's feasibility, but my concerns were dismissed. Therefore, she would receive the completed manual before midnight as promised. And I delivered. The following day, she summoned me to her office, expressing concern about my late-night work and emphasizing the need to prioritize my family and well-being. I reiterated that I had explicitly stated the deadline was unreasonable, but she had disregarded my input. Consequently, this was the outcome, and I thanked her for it. She then arranged for me to be assigned a mental coach, ostensibly to improve my work-life balance. The coach, after a thorough assessment, quickly realized that my workload and approach were in fact sound. She requested a joint meeting with my line manager. During this session, my manager reiterated her philosophy that pushing individuals to exceed their limits was the sole path to personal improvement. The coach, with astute clarity, then inquired, "So you are not satisfied with his work?" My manager, taken aback, then proceeded to praise my performance, stating I was the most capable individual in the entire department. The subsequent coaching sessions shifted dramatically. The coach candidly told me, "What a piece of work your manager is. You don't need sessions on work-life balance. You need sessions on setting boundaries." Over the next 8 weeks, we focused on practical strategies, role-playing various scenarios to equip me with the skills to articulate my boundaries effectively, ensuring my concerns were not dismissed. Then an opportunity presented itself, quite literally on a silver platter. During a unit meeting with all colleagues present and amidst a period of intense routine tasks, my manager assigned me 2 new projects on top of our existing critical responsibilities. I responded, "If I understand correctly, you wish for me to undertake these additional tasks, alongside mandatory responsibilities A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, with a 6-month deadline for the new projects. Very well, I can accommodate this, but I will not complete them before that timeframe. My priority is to maintain high-quality standards and ensure a sustainable work-life balance." It was a take-it-or-leave-it proposition. Cornered, she had no choice but to accept the agreed-upon calendar. She attempted to push her agenda a few times, but I consistently reminded her of our established agreement. Since that moment, she has ceased assigning me extraneous work, or at least not without first inquiring about my current workload, the time required for any new activity, and its overall impact. 1 year on, I am now engaged in a project she is entirely unaware of. I am focused on the work that is genuinely essential, proceeding at my own pace and diligently avoiding the superfluous tasks she once demanded. She cannot fault my progress, as my optimization and efficiency gain projects are delivering tangible results, and crucially, I have reclaimed my life. My thanks to the line manager for initiating the paid mental coaching. Her intention was to mold me to her pace. Instead, she inadvertently provided me with the tools to halt her. If you've ever encountered a leader who mistook your dedication for an unlimited capacity, share your experiences in the comments below. And if you appreciate stories of quiet competence and earned respect, be sure to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.